might be experiencing, especially with this new moon, that some old stuff, some residual stuff is coming up to be cleared, to be purged. Now, what do we mean by that? You think that you've healed. You think that you've overcome it. You think that you have cleared what needs to be cleared, and then all of a sudden it's coming up again. It's coming up again, but in a different way. And it's important to remember that your ascension journey is one of growth and is one of healing. But that healing and that growth happens in layers. It's not a once and done process. We remember that it's a journey. We remember it's a process, and thus we have to have compassion and patience for ourselves and for others. It's kind of like an onion, in that layers are peeled back to reveal more and more and more. I call it excavation because what we're really doing is we're diving deep into the core of ourselves. And it's like we are pummeling through layers and layers and layers of like earth, of rock, right? To get to the core. And what they're showing me now is the actual layers of the earth. You have the crust, you have you go, I don't know, I'm not a geologist or whatever. You go through these layers, and if you they're actually showing me like a diagram of, like in a science textbook, of all these layers of the earth. And then in the core of the earth is the molten lava, right? It's the very core, and that's who you are as a soul. You are that core essence, that fire that's burning. That is who you are within you. But you have to go deep within yourself. Metaphorically, of course, you have to go deep within yourself in order to clear out all of those old layers of trauma, conditioning, patterns, beliefs that just don't serve you anymore. Now, remember, those things might have served you as a past version of you. It might have served you up until this point, but now that you're becoming aware of those patterns, you're becoming aware of those habits, you're becoming aware of those beliefs, they don't have to serve you anymore. And that trauma might have helped you to see things in a different light. That trauma, you might have been in a survival mode, but we're not meant to be in survival mode. And so we're clearing that trauma, we're clearing that pain, we're clearing heartbreak, we're clearing those patterns and beliefs in order to move into higher frequency, higher dimension, and higher consciousness. And consciousness is a shift in perspective. It is a shift in energy. And so what we're doing along our ascension journey, when we say that we're healing, is we're peeling back all those layers to remember who we are, that fire inside, that core essence of who we are at the root, at the core. And it's what they're saying is you have that molten lava as a metaphor, right, for the earth. And then what do you have on top of that? Layers and layers of rock. And what are those layers of rock? Those layers of rock are like the guard. It's like protective layers. That's that survival mode. It's all the beliefs and the patterns and the habits that you used in order to survive, to protect that core essence of who you are. It was learned behavior. It was conditioning that you learned. But you don't need that anymore. I mean, in some respects, yes, you do. In some respects, we still have, survival part of us, and that's important. We still have ego. We say that we're not killing the ego, we're not dissolving the ego or getting rid of the ego. We integrate the ego so that the soul speaks louder than the ego. You're tuned into the soul versus the ego. It's not the ego that's directing you anymore, directing your life, but it's the soul that's leading you. So but the ego is still part of your identity. The ego, to be part of this physical world in physical form, and the ego can serve a purpose. The mind especially can serve a purpose. It's very practical, it's very logical, and you need that balance. If you were all one thing or all the other, then you would be in one extreme or the other. And we're transcending out of that duality structure and moving into the middle path, the middle way, into that balance. We're learning how to bring these spiritual concepts into physical form so that we embody those spiritual teachings and understandings. That's what the balance is all about. That's what bringing heaven to earth is all about. It's about understanding the embodiment of these sacred teachings, of this wisdom, of this spiritual understanding and concepts, because you're still in physical form. You're still here on this planet. And so what you're doing is you are peeling back all of those layers, all of those false beliefs, or old beliefs, I should call it, all those patterns that might have served you up until a point, but that isn't serving you for the next level of your journey, that isn't serving you for the next level of your life, of your ascension.